Hey, reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, you're watching the original Rebels Racing League.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You heard the Grand Marshal saying, get those engines ready here for the late night Rebels race at Phoenix Raceway. Brought to you by Hall Sheet Metal. Always bringing it to you live on Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, pushing you the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second. I'm your host, James East. Looking forward to another great night with these competitors as they take to their open qualifying. Right now, we're going to get them out there and get them fired up. That's the number 17 of Jason Lottridge putting down his fast laps, trying to put that 48 machine out on the qualifying. Expecting a lot of good racing here today, as it's going to be a relatively long race here at Phoenix. Should be a great time for everybody. I'm looking forward to it. As always, thank you to everybody that tunes in from across the world, cheering on your favorite drivers, giving them the support, helping them get some much-needed TV time for their friends, family, and sponsors. Always a great time here on the original Rebel Racing League. A lot of great drivers, a lot of friendly drivers, and always a great time in the booth broadcasting these guys. Normally pretty clean racing across the board. See if we can pull up the points here for you, give you a bit of an update. Right now, it's still going to be David Sarwell Cornell out front, Fry Hubert in second place, Jeff Paisley in third place, Bud Barnes fourth, and then Jason Rockefeller in fifth for the points. So still a lot of racing left in the season. All these guys willing to hang it out in the line and make something happen. Guys, let's take a look at Ryan Williams in the number 12 car. Well, lifetime in scoring shows him as 12, but he's running 8 today. A lot of drivers here tonight, so nice to see that it's going to be such a packed field of talented drivers. You're watching Steve Loving in the number 27 Chevrolet Camaro going out for his fast laps. Let's see what he does his first time by. It appears to me that they are allowing the dog leg for at least qualifying. Not sure that's going to be the case for the race here today. One of those tracks that looks deceptively easy, but it's very, very different all the way around the racetrack. As we see Steve Loving put down a 27.45 on his first lap of the session. Can he beat Garrett Kinder in the number 13 Ford Mustang? Kinder on top of provisional pole with a 27.13 lap time. Let's see what Loving has. Bumps himself up just one spot with a 27.42. Not a bad run. Let's check out Kieran Church in the number 22. Kieran, one of our favorite drivers to watch, always very smooth and consistent. As you see him absolutely charge down the dogleg, trying to get a little bit of speed built up before he goes into the final two corners here at Phoenix. Trying to carry as much slip angle as he can without losing time, but it looks like he's going to burn up those rear tires just a little bit here. Puts down a 27.52, and just like that, he is hard into the wall. Check out Alan Wernicke in the number 72 Chevrolet Camaro. "22 drivers have put down qualifying times so far. 8 still remain, so it'll be a 30-car grid if everyone joins tonight. Great to see the traffic really building up for these late-night Rebels racer. Let's see what we can get out of Alan Wernicke here in the 72. What type of time he puts down. Right now, provisional pole is at 27.13 by 0.05 of a second, edging out second place. Wernicke puts down a 27.36, finds himself off by about 2/10 on his opening lap. And that is going to be the one and only lap as he sends it whipping around the 72 and decides at this point, let's just hold on the gas, put on a good show for the fans that are watching single car qualifying. Let's take it to the grid for tonight's feature event. Garrett Kinder out front in first place. Justin Wilkinson will be starting second. Josh Oswald will be starting third with Josh Smith fourth. Alan Warnecki starting fifth. Dakota Camper sixth. Jeff Paisley starting seventh. Steve Loving in eighth. Peyton Johnson will be starting ninth tonight. William Griffith will be starting 10th. Kai Schappert will be starting 11th. Kieran Church in 12th. We take it back to David Sarwell Cornell starting 13th. Kyle Roberts 14th. Joshua Thompson 15th. Kenneth Farmer 16th. Ryan Williams starting 17th. Michael Smith 18th. Jason Lottridge starting 19th. Colton Lanford starting 20th. Brett Grunwald starting 21st. Hitman Monzo starting 22nd. Harold Barnes starting 23rd. Clint Rice 24th. Then you've got Brett Redder, league admin, running 25th, not having the qualifying that he wanted. James Jones starting 26th. Larry Ashby starting 27th. Fan favorite, Micah Rebay starting 28th. Charlie Gates Jr. starting 29th. And then Gene Watkinson will start in 30th to round out our field today. So a very, very packed field full of very talented drivers. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be 150 laps here at the Hot Phoenix Raceway. Anything can happen here at the Original Rebels Racing Late Night League. As always, thank you to Arcadia Motorsports for coming on board. Hall Sheet Metal for sponsoring most of the series as the title sponsor. And then Magic Mike Motorsports, also a sponsor of the series. So great to see so many awesome companies and drivers coming together to support some grassroots racing as the poor Pit Alcone gets absolutely punished by Alan Warnecki. Not sure what type of racing we're going to see here. We know the cars can be very loose on their opening laps until about lap 10 or 15 before the tires start to get the heat into them, and then these drivers can really, really push. After a lap, about 15, you'll start seeing things get a little bit more squirrely. Excuse me, less squirrely as the car's starting to tighten up. A green flag is out. Justin Wilkinson with a great start. Garrett Kinder in second. Josh Smith third. Gets edged out by Josh Oswald. They're going to go back and forth for the battle for third. An absolute massive fleet of drivers out here today. Some drivers taking the dog legs, some guys keeping it above the double yellow, so I don't believe it is a rule that they have to stay above the double yellow here today. And that's where things can get very, very exciting as you see drivers starting to drop down. And then if you have someone on your inside that doesn't drop, you are fully committed to dooring those guys. Everybody gets through 1 and 2. So far, so clean. As the lead pack starting to stretch itself just a little bit. Wilkinson still out front. Kinder second. Josh Smith in third. We do have a couple crashes. Micah Rebay involved. Charlie Gates Jr. involved. Let's get the replay for you. So you're watching Micah Rebay in the 77. Let's see what happens to old Magic Mike. Looks like he gets loose all by his lonesome, hucks it around. And that's going to get the number 55, Charlie Gates Jr. involved. As poor Rebay all across the track. And the car just comes to a total stop as he drills the outside wall in that 77 machine. These drivers do have one and only one. We all have one and only one fast repair for these drivers to use tonight. So unfortunately, Micah Rebay and Charlie Gates Jr. having to use those repairs early on in the night. Charlie Gates did get a better run out of it. A little bit better luck. Back out front, still gonna be Justin Wilkinson, Garrett Kinder, Josh Smith in the top three. Josh Oswald will be starting from the second row as well. That'll bring out our first caution of the night. So expecting to see a few more with 150 laps total. We're going to shuffle this field back together, make something happen. Not sure what's going to happen here. We're expecting more and more shenanigans as we stack the field up. Pace car should be in this time by. Justin Wilkinson with a great start. Garrett Kinder in tow. Josh Smith's going to try and dive it down the inside in the 47 machine. Smith is going to take second position. He's going to edge out Kinder there in the number 13 position. So this is your battle for second on screen right now as they go bumper to bumper. A lot of great racing up front. A huge, huge slide. I believe that was Dakota Camper has a moment. Looks like we're going to stay green as the field shuffles to avoid the number 3 machine. Great racing. We said these cars are going to be loose early on into the night, and you can definitely see that with some of the guys having rear end stability issues. About to have a three-way battle for here second, though, as Josh Smith, he gets in the wall in the 47. That's going to allow Josh Oswald, Garrett Kinder to get around. Smith's going to find himself now sitting in 4th place after gaining and losing a couple spots. Garrett started up in pole position with a 13, finds himself running second. Meanwhile, current leader Justin Wilkinson puts down the best lap of the race at 27.22. Garrett doing a great job on the 13 machine, run that high line. He will not be able to run that super long. Once that car tightens up, they're going to want to push wide. And just like that, we've got our second caution of the night. Ryan Williams involved. That was about around the battle for P17 or P18. Ryan Williams in the number 8, that blue and white machine. Looks like he falls victim as well to that rear end wiggle. Does a good job trying to avoid the number 42, but just drills the outside wall. Goes careening across the racetrack. Luckily, no other drivers involved in that one. That single car incident. Now we'll bring out the second caution of the night on lap 10. Ryan Williams, he'll bring it into pit lane to get his car repaired. Micah Uribe still in the pits as well. Now it'll be Wilkinson still out front. Garrett in the number 13 machine in second. Josh Oswald third. Alan Wernicke in fourth, moving up one spot. Josh Smith having a bit of bad luck. We saw him battling up there for second place. Now sitting in 5th place for the restart. And points leader David Sarwell Cornell, he's up 7 spots so far. Qualified 13th. has now moved his way up into 6th, so he's just somebody to keep an eye on out here today. Your 63, always a hard charger, does what it takes to get out front, and he's very, very smart. And he knows I can't win it this early on, even though I do have a fast repair. Let's keep that in the back pocket for later in case we do have incidents later on. We're going to get ready to re-rack him again here at Phoenix. Still lots of great racing left to go. Garrett up there, 2nd place in the number 13, racing with Reaper Racing. Should be seeing the pace car come in next time. Bye. Josh Oswald starting in 3rd place for this restart. He qualified 3rd, still running in 3rd, so being very, very consistent in the big 1.7 machine with Full Send Racing. Always great to see him out here doing a fantastic job, keeping it clean so far. It's going to be the name of the game. Who can keep their cars cleanest the longest? As now you'll start to see drivers having to come in and deal with different sets of tires and their competitors around them. The more and more guys you see getting involved in crashes early on will equate to more drivers coming out on fresh rubber. And then as we know, fresh rubber equals loose, loose equals fast, but if you can't hold on to it, it can equate in carnage at the very end of it. All eyes on Garrett and Justin on the front row. Here we go, pace car is in. Wilkinson, Kinder, out front, gonna get a great, great launch. Warnecki's looks like he's gonna lose a spot there in the 72. There's a whole fleet of drivers coming behind him. David Starwell Cornell's moved up to 5th. Cornell pushing very, very hard early on this restart to gain some spots on these competitors. Cornell trying to chase down Warnecki in the 72. Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of a love tap going on there. Davis Hartwell Cornell looks to the inside, doesn't think he's going to make it stick here. Here comes Josh Smith in the 47, trying to carry more speed on the high side. Cornell using every little bit of that dog leg he can. I'm not sure if it's faster, especially when he comes up in the race line like that. It can get very, very exciting, very, very quick. Still finds himself, oh no, a big crash. Colton Lanford involved in the 25, as well as Jason Lottridge. We're watching Lanford in the 25 machine. Runs through the dog leg. Oh, and then there's just carnage in front of him. Let's get another angle on that one. .48 gives a little bit of a love tap as Jason Lottridge gives a love tap to 97. I believe that's going to be Redder in the 97. Spins him around, and then it just goes from bad to worse as Colt Lanford gets involved in that mess. Lanford, not sure if he was already crashing at that moment or what might have happened. We're going to take a look with the chopper cam pointed at Lanford. You see at the very top right of your corner that incident already starting to develop, and then Lanford, unfortunately, just nowhere to go, trying to dodge cars, really drills the 97 of Brett Redder. And Lanford just having a series of bad luck, hits the inside wall very, very hard. And that's going to bring out another caution here tonight on lap 16. So that will be our third caution of the night. So we'll get ready to re-rack them here at Phoenix. Justin Wilkinson still out front. Garrett Kinder in second. Josh Oswald third. Alan Wernicke fourth. And then David Sartwell Cornell has moved up to fifth place. He is up 5 spots so far and still charging hard. Can the current points leader keep chipping away at the competition in front of him and get back out front? Or are we going to see a different race winner here tonight? Really shaking things up. A few drivers already opting to come into pit lane and throw on some fresh tires, grab some fuel to switch things up on the pit strategy that we're going to see here at Phoenix. Let's see, so now you're going to have most of the field still out there on their original set of tires, while about a handful of drivers have come in either due to accidents or trying to change up their pit strategy and grab some fresh Goodyears all the way around and top off on fuel. Mike Uribe currently shows the only driver not on the lead lap. Uribe involved in one of those early incidents. Stack the field up too wide. 9, 10, we'll call it 15 rows deep. There's a lot of competitors still out there. Showing 28 drivers on the lead lap. Phoenix, definitely one of the trickier circuits out there. They originally planned to be racing at Rockingham, but there was no fixed setups provided by iRacing. These guys are all running on fixed setups, so iRacing was unable to provide a setup for Rockingham, so things have had to get switched up quickly. Well, let's get ready for the restart. Wilkinson with another great start. Garrett does his best to hold on to it, but here comes Josh Oswald in the 17, run that low line. He's followed by David Sartwell Cornell, trying to get something working. Maybe gain a couple spots in the restart. Track position is key, especially when we've had so many cautions. Cornell using every bit of the apron. I believe we do have another yellow flag as Colton Lanford once again involved. Yellow flag proudly waves at the start-finish line. Let's get you the instant replay there. Colton Lanford in the 25. Seems like he gives a bit of a shove, tries to take some real estate that may not have existed there. That was the 1-1-1 of Gene Watkinson, also involved. Watkinson comes back up track and sends Colton Lanford spinning around. Lanford has already used that one fast repair, so he's very fortunate to keep it off of the wall and away from the other competitors. The Lanford's got to be going into savings mode now, realizing, hey, I've only got I have no fast repairs left. We've got to keep this race machine as clean as we possibly can and just hope that other people have worse luck than I'm currently having. Averaging about 5 laps per caution at this rate. But we are seeing things shaking up just a little bit as David Sartwell Cornell has moved up to third place. In front of him, he's got Josh Oswald in second and Justin Wilkinson in first. So things are already getting shaken up in the top 5 early on into the night as we see drivers slowly eking their way up as the yellow flag runs continue. Right now, David Sartwell Cornell, he's up 10 spots. Let's look at Clint Rice in the 42. He's up 11 spots so far, so well done to Rice, able to get out there and keep pushing. Rice racing with JBR Motorsports, doing a fantastic job navigating the field, keeping the 42 relatively clean and getting back up there. Wilkinson out front in the 19. Oswald running in second. And then David Sartwell Cornell fourth. And then finally Garrett in the 13 machine running in fourth place. So a lot of great driving still left to come. Drivers starting to warm up their tires just a little bit here. Trying to get ready for the restart, trying to keep some heat in those bad boys. Here we go. Pace car is going to lead them around one more time before we get this party started. Wilkinson's going to be on the front row inside in the number 19 Toyota. Oswald on the outside of row 1 and his number 17 Chevy. But keep an eye on David Sartwell Cornell, currently running third place in the 63 Ford Mustang. Pace car will be in this time by. Keep an eye on the right side of your screen. That's Justin Wilkinson. He's been getting fantastic starts all night long. Let's see what happens here as it'll be lap 25. Once they cross the line, away they go. Wilkinson does his best to take up all the lanes before diving deep into turn 1. Josh Oswald in close pursuit in second, but here comes David Sartwell Cornell diving down the inside into the dog leg. He's going to try and gain as much position as he can early on into this restart, making the track just a little bit smaller. He's all over the bumper of Justin Wilkinson, but Josh Oswald, the number 17, currently running third place. He wants back up there as a massive fleet of drivers still trying to jockey for position, get everything sorted out. When David Sartwell Cornell, Josh Oswald have this battle for second, that's going to allow race leader Justin Wilkinson to put a little bit of a gap on the field. But David Sartwell Cornell doing a great job saying, no sir, not today, I'm going to stay right here with you. Not sure how tire strategy is going to come into play for these drivers, if that's on the back of their mind or if everybody's trying to get as many positions as they can early on before their pace really falls off. As Justin Wilkinson puts down a 27.35 his last time by compared to Sartwell Cornell's 23.37, and another massive crash here at Phoenix. Lots of drivers involved. Kinder, Shapert, James Jones, Harold Bud Barnes, Hitman Monzo, Charlie Gates Jr., Colton Lanford, Gene Watkinson, Michael Smith, all involved in a massive pileup. Let's get a replay here for you. Try and tighten that up a little bit in the chopper camera. So it looks like the 13 gets just a little bit of a love tap from the 7. And things go very, very bad for all sorts of drivers. As Kinder just kind of getting pushed around the racetrack. A lot of drivers involved. And, oh, man, that's a rough night for a lot of drivers. A huge, huge pile up here. As the wreck that just keeps on giving continues. Everybody having to come to an almost full stop out there so they can figure out what on earth is going on. Poor Kai still getting drilled in his 43 machine as drivers trying to make their way around. Well, a lot of great drivers involved in that one earlier on. That was one of the biggest crashes we've seen here at the original Rebels Racing League Late Night Series. We've got about, looks like almost 10 drivers coming into pit lane to get things figured out. So if we keep going like this, we will definitely not have 30 cars finishing this race, as about a third of the field gets involved in that one, takes out just all sorts of carnage and sheet metal involved in that. Justin Wilkinson, he's out front. David Sartwell Cornell second. Josh Oswald third. Josh Smith fourth. And then Steve Loving in fifth. Things really getting shaken up in the top five and really across the racetrack. But David Sartwell Cornell, he's up 11 spots. Clint Rice still up 13 spots. So Rice having a great run of luck here. Able to get more and more traction and keep gaining that forward momentum. Still a long way to go, folks. We got 120 laps left here at Phoenix. That would be our fifth caution of the night. So now we're averaging about 6 laps of caution. So things are slowly but surely getting a little bit better. Starting to get some green flag runs going on. And as a reminder, these guys have one fast repair at their disposal. Once you use that up, it is done for the day. After that, every little bit of damage you take is going to slow you down, and you've got to sit there in the pit lane to get it corrected. Looking forward to another restart here. Restarts are always fun and exciting here at Phoenix. It's lap 30. They've probably got about 15 laps of fast use on those tires, so tire wear should still be okay. The best lap times of the session so far were in the low 27 point so on for lap time, so you may start seeing some high 27s, low 28s just based on tire wear. The pace car is going to lead them around for the final time. It'll be Justin Wilkinson once again up front on the inside line in the number 19 Toyota. To his right side, David Sartwell Cornell, the number 63 Ford Mustang. Behind the lead line, you've got Josh Oswald, the 17, and Josh Smith, the 47, both running Chevrolet Camaros today. So let's see, can the lone Toyota and Ford driver up front stay ahead of a sea of Chevrolets behind them? Pace car is in. We're all watching Wilkinson on the right side of your screen to see what type of launch he gets. Green flag is out. Wilkinson with another massive launch. But keep an eye on Sartwell Cornell. He's been charging hard all night long, up 11 spots, currently running second. And a lot of things going on behind these two drivers. But Sartwell Cornell with a massive run going down the backstretch. They're almost touching back here. Just a massive field of drivers. There's great racing all across the track. Almost very hard to keep track of it. You've got the battle for third right here in front of you. It's Josh Smith trying to chase down Josh Oswald. At the very front, you've got Justin Wilkinson, current race leader, trying to hold off David Sartwell Cornell. And then behind Josh Smith, you've got a fleet of drivers. Alan Wernicke, Steve Loving, Kieran Church, all trying to get up there for that top 5 spot early on. Rolling lap 33, and guys are driving their heart off. A big save from somebody at the back. Look at that. Trying to make something work on the inside line. That's Alan Wernicke in the 72. Looking down low in the dogleg to see if he can figure out any alternative lines here and maybe make a pass on Josh Smith, the 47. Oh, another crash. It's the 35 going for a wild ride. I believe Jason Lottridge, Kyle Roberts, Brett Redder. Oh, it's another big one, folks. Jason Lottridge in the 48, one of the initial crashes. Let's see what happens here. I'm not sure if the crash is in front of him. It is. That's Kyle Roberts going for a wild ride. The number 48, Jason Lottridge involved. Some of the guys able to skate by. but an absolute parking lot on the track. The 35 unable to gain control, and they're going to effectively block the Raceway here. Oh, and this is where it gets from bad to worse. Look at Brett Redder. Locks it up, punches the cars out of the way. 48 gets pushed into 43. The 83, Harold Bud Barnes, nowhere to go, woes way up. Here comes the number 13, also involved. Trying to slip by, but man, when they have crashes, they are massive ones here at Phoenix, as just so many guys getting collected early on the run. We're only on lap 37, so a long way to go for these drivers, as we're seeing more and more carnage on the racetrack. Another 10 drivers at least involved in that one. As you can see, a large portion of the field starting to cycle in. A large portion of the guys involved with incidents early on, but some of the guys just come in for tires at this point. This is going to be a race of survival if we've ever seen one. Interesting fact here, David Starwell-Cornell did come in on lap 36 to take tires. Justin Wilkinson, Alan Wernicke, Kiernan Church, and Joshua Thompson elect to stay out. They are the only drivers still on their original set of tires tonight. I believe they're going to try and stay out front and just avoid some of the carnage and then pit when they absolutely have to and not a moment earlier, as track position and car safety is definitely playing to be the biggest factor on these drivers here tonight. This will be our 6th caution of the night, as the pace car driver is burning up some fuel in his iRacing Ford Mustang. Justin Wilkinson once again started on the inside line. Alan Wernicke will be starting in second on the outside in his number 72 Chevrolet. Behind them, you've got Kiernan Church, Josh Thompson on the second row. Colton Lanford, Ryan Williams will be on our third row. Lanford involved in one of those early incidents, able to stay out now after having to use a fast repair. So Lanford in the 25 is going to do his best to get out there and keep that car clean. Historically, it seems like it's mid-pack or further back that's been having the problems with the wrecks and bringing out the cautions. The top 5, while racing aggressively, has been pretty clean. But David Starwell-Cornell, currently running 10th, has got to be a little bit nervous, finding himself middle of the field. Still 27 drivers on the lead lap, with 110 laps left to go here at Phoenix. Keep an eye on Wernicke. He's up there up front for one of the first times this race. Let's see if he has anything for Justin Wilkinson. Wilkinson's been doing a great job all night, getting fantastic launches. But just like that, Wilkinson puts down another patented massive launch, starts to check out, dives it deep into one. Alan Wernicke still holds on to second, but here comes Kiernan Church in the 22 on the inside line. Church opts to take the dog leg. Let's see how he comes out side by side next to Wernicke, excuse me. Looks like Church able to make that pass stick so far. Yellow flag is out again. Let's see, it's going to be Peyton Johnson, Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunewald, William Griffith, Kyle Roberts, Dakota Camper, all involved in another big one. Let's see what happens here. Peyton Johnson's in the number 15 machine. Gotta be a different angle, see if that shows a little bit better. That's number 15, center of your screen, the beautiful blue and white, but for not much longer. Looks like the 27 gets pinched into the wall by the 63. The 27 of Steve Loving unfortunately gets slingshotted across the track. That's going to elect Peyton Johnson. Number 7, Jeff Paisley, he gets into the back of the 27 just by a tad bit. But we've been saying it all night long. Once they crash, it quickly takes up the racetrack. And then, oh, Peyton Johnson can't get away. Goes airborne the number 7 and drops back down the 35 to 59. They're involved as well. Nothing but carnage and heartbreak here tonight at Phoenix. And the crash is still going back there. Steve Loving gets hit again. Some ARCA brakes going on by the 48 machine into some parked cars. What is going on tonight? The 59 driving into the side of Steve Loving. That was Kenneth Farmer involved in the late hit. Then another almost incident as the number 7 gets cut off trying to get back out onto the track. What a night here, ladies and gentlemen. Lap 42 out of 150. We've had our 7th caution of the night. A lot of people having a rough time here today. We'll try and re-rack this field and do it once more. I was going to say you may see the admin start forcing single file restarts, but to be fair to the drivers, it's not really the restart, the immediate restart where we see the problem. It's usually 3 or 4 laps in minimum for the restart where we see drivers starting to lose control, tighten up, and get into each other. Somebody back there has a massive blink. Not quite sure who that was. David Starwell Cornell, we've been watching his progress all night. He finds himself in 11th on this restart. Justin Wilkinson has definitely got the most laps led in the number 19 Toyota. Kieran Church doing a great job. He's running 2nd now. Alan Warnecki's got shuffled back to 3rd. Josh Thompson 4th. And then Colton Lanford still running 5th in the 25 machine. That's Lanford we see with the internet problems on the number 25. With some massive blinks. It's something he's going to have to keep an eye on. Race Control may award him an EOL if it becomes too bad to race around. Pace car will be in this time by Justin Wilkinson, run the inside line. Kieran Church on the outside, the white and yellow number 22. Pace car is in. Wilkinson's been getting fantastic launches all day long. And he gets one more for us as he absolutely sends it in the number 19. The battle for 2nd and 3rd starting to shape up. Church doing a good job defending behind him. He's got Warnecki, Thompson, and Lanford all in the mix trying to get up there. Warnecki and Thompson running side by side. Warnecki's on the inside line. Thompson's on the high line. Who's going to come out on top here? Josh Thompson in the Bass Pro sponsor number 8 machine. Warnecki looks like he's got him clear here going on the start-finish line. And then another incident. That's the number 17. Goes for a ride, but he may be in pit lane. So the caution does come out. That's Jeff Paisley, Josh Oswald involved. Watch Paisley in the number 7 here. Not quite sure where the incident started, if he maybe just used too much apron trying to make a pass and trying to make the track a little bit shorter. Or does it happen in front of Paisley? Seeing what happens here to the number 7. Oh, that's what it was. That was the 17. Took it for a spin, and then Paisley tries to do avoidance, and just boom! Head-on collision. A huge, huge hit for the number 7. That is very rough luck. That was Paisley involved. And I believe Josh Oswald with a very hard hit as well. I'll be bringing out our 8th caution of the night on lap 47. So we're about a third of the way through. That means, ladies and gentlemen, we're averaging about 6 laps per caution tonight as competitors are still trying to get all the bugs worked out, get things dialed in. I am curious to see how long can Justin Wilkinson and the number 19 Toyota stay out at this point. Wilkinson is not pitted. He's currently running first. Second place, Kieran Church also is not pitted. Alan Wernecki in third has not pitted. Then Joshua Thompson in fourth has not pitted. So all these guys still out there on their original set of tires, holding it down and just happy to be keeping those cars clean. Now what's happening though is you're going to see more and more guys getting fresh tires and using that one faster pair they have, coming out with brand new race cars. And you can see quite a speed difference. And that's where you can start seeing more and more mid-pack crashes as the guys that are out there doing their best are suddenly find themselves banging doors with the guys on fresher equipment that can push it just a little bit harder. And we know what they say, cautions breed cautions, which means we're going to have a whole gaggle of them as we've already managed to hit 8 so far earlier into the night, only 1/3 of the way through the race. Justin Wilkinson getting a whole lot of practice starts here today in the number 19. He'll be on the inside line. Kieran Church will be on the outside on the front row. Behind them, Alan Wernecki, Joshua Thompson. A lot of talented drivers you see at the front of the field here. We're going to keep an eye on Justin Wilkinson. He's been getting some of the best starts we've seen in the series so far here tonight. Gets a great launch, swerves to the high line, gain a little bit more speed, then drops it down low and drives very defensively while also staying very, very quick. Pace car will be in this time by Well, let's get ready to rumble. It's going to be Justin Wilkinson on the inside line, Kieran Church on the high line. Here we go. Wilkinson with a great, great start. Kieran Church follows in tow going into turn 1. And then Alan Wernecki, he wants a piece of it in the 72. The battle for second, really the battle for the top 5, very, very heated. And we see somebody spinning. That's me, Josh Thompson involved, Ryan Williams. Let's see what happens here. Josh Thompson in the number 8 machine. The blue and white. Oh no, start on the outside. We have 2 number 8s. We do. We're going to talk to some of these drivers. We've got both the 8 machines collecting into each other and then spent careening across the racetrack. So I believe that's Joshua Thompson we're focused on right here. And then Ryan Williams is another number 8. Oh, and then number 13, he gets a piece of it as well. That was going to be Garrett involved in another incident, so a lot of hard luck As we click off our 9th caution of the night, lap 53. Let's see what's going to happen here. Justin Wilkinson, Kieran Church, Wernicke still opting to stay out in those original set of tires. They're doing a great job of running quickly, avoiding all the carnage behind them. So that may be the proper play here. Sarwell Cornell, he pitted on lap 36. He's worked his way back up to 5th. Honestly, with this many cautions, I truly wonder how long a driver can go on one tank of gas. I mean, they're able to fuel save like nobody's business right now. As Phoenix proven to be one of the tougher tracks for these online athletes so far this season. A lot of good drivers getting, I don't want to say getting into bad luck, but having hard luck. As we show about 23 out of the original 30 still on track and on the lead lap. I believe only one driver right now has called it quits for the evening. That's Gene Watkinson in the 111. He made the lap 27 before his bad luck really hit home. Micah Rebay still out there. He's about 8 or 9 laps down. A real professional, staying out there trying to gain some points. Justin Wilkinson with his patent launches all day long. He's starting out front. Kieran Church once again on his outside line. Alan Wernicke third. Josh Smith fourth. David Starwell Cornell has worked his way back up into 5th. As we get ready to go live once more at Phoenix, pace car will begin this time by. All eyes are on Wilkinson right now in the number 19 machine. He's been getting fantastic launches. Let's watch it again. He does. I will say, though, that every time we get a restart, and we've had a lot of them here today, that gives the rest of the field a chance to see what he's doing and try and work out his pattern. But here comes the battle for second. Kieran Church holding off Alan Wernicke. Behind Wernicke, you've got David Sarwell Cornell, as well as Josh Smith and Michael Smith, all really bunched up going into Phoenix on this restart. Sarwell Cornell looks like he's going to lose a spot here. And then goes right back by. Caution is out as Hitman Monzo involved in a big incident. Monzo in the 44, he gets involved. Brett Grunwald, James Jones, all having rough nights here with this one. Let's see what happens to the old Hitman here. Oh, there's already a spin. I believe that's the 20 or the 83 of Harold Bud Barnes. He might have gotten a little bit of dodge. Then Monzo hard in the inside wall, pops a heck of a wheelie. Unfortunately, drifts back out on track. The 12 machine barely avoids, and you see the guys absolutely scattering, trying to avoid Hitman. Ooh, and there it is. Brett Grunewald involved. A lot of cars involved again, so these guys have got to be thinking, hey, we're out of or about out of fast repairs. This Hitman just gets clobbered from the field after losing it on the start-finish line straight. Take a couple laps to get these drivers sorted, get them back out there. see Justin Wilkinson, Kieran Church, Alan Warnecki still staying out there on their original set of tires and doing a fairly solid job of holding off David Sorbo Cornell, who came in on lap 36 for his fresh set of rubber. So well done to see those top three drivers staying out there, being consistent and keeping those cars clean. That is a feat upon itself that we have seen after so many drivers have been involved in big incidents. We're down to 19 drivers on the lead lap. Several drivers are out for the race. I believe that is going to be Gene Watkinson. He is out. Kinder is out. "90 laps remaining in this feature race tonight for the original Rebels Racing League Late Night Series. You can join in the action. Check out the Late Night Rebels Discord. They're also very active on Facebook. You can get on the action, drive around with a bunch of other like-minded folks. They're a lot of fun on and off the track, and just generally a good group of guys to surround yourself with. So as always, thank you guys for having us out. We greatly appreciate it. A lot of good racing still to come. It'll be about a little bit less than 90 laps once they come on by for the restart. Pace car should be in this time by. We're going to watch and see if Wilkinson can get another patented start. He's been absolutely on his game all night long, but every restart gives these competitors a chance to figure out a strategy. But no, just like that, another huge start. Kieran Church still in second. Let's look at Warnecki running, trying to get the low line. But look at Sarwell Cornell in the number 63 machine. Run that high line, able to run a little bit faster, and the race leader hits the wall. Oh, that is a huge upset. That was Justin Wilkinson, hits the wall and then gets absolutely creamed by some of the other competitors. Can't believe that happened. No caution coming out, so now David Starbuck Cornell is going to take the lead here. What a spectacular moment. Not much you can do there as Wilkinson just hit the wall hard and gets run over from his competition behind him. So we'll try and grab a replay of that momentarily. But man, still great racing going on. Kieran Church running in second. David Starwell Cornell with a commanding lead, but here comes Warnecki and Clint Rice and Josh Smith all in a three-way battle for third, trying to get things sorted out here. Looks like they're stretching down single file just a little bit. Here's Josh Smith. He's trying to chase down Clint Rice. That's the battle for fourth. All these drivers still all over each other early on in the race. Also have more great racing going on here for sixth. That's William Griffith. He's running sixth. He's being chased by Brett Redder in the 97. Redder goes low. Going to try and slide the racetrack without pinching off his friend, William Griffith, in the 21. And this is going to give Redder the preferred line. Going into one, Redder goes in deep, tries to avoid hitting the number 12 of William Griffith. And we're going to take it back up just in front of William Griffith and Brett Redder. Still a great battle for third going on. Here is Clint Rice trying to chase down Alan Wernicke in the number 72 machine. Wernicke holding on for dear life. He's running great. He's up 2 spots from where he started. The 72 is running fantastically. And then look at this. Here's Kieran Church trying to chase down Davis Harwell Cornell, who's racing very well, and he's up 12 spots into first place. Kieran Church finds himself in second. He's up 10 spots. And hopefully we don't hit it with the old commentator's curse, but this looks like to be one of the better green flag runs we've had so far this race. Now Kieran Church, Alan Wernicke still have not pitted since their original pit stop, so they will probably drive as long as they can on fuel. And if we see a caution come out, then you can expect the 22 and the 72 to come on into pit lane and grab 4 fresh Goodyears and a tank full of fuel. Davis Harwell Cornell has a bit of a moment coming down the start-finish line straight. A little bit of a tail wiggle, holds on to it, dives down deep into 1. But look at Kieran Church keeping Davis Harwell Cornell relatively close despite being on his original set of tires. He technically has 70 laps of tires on that 22 so far. These guys have got to be hoping for a caution at this point to try and slow down the field, stack it back up so they can come in for tires. Davis Harwell Cornell, he's doing what he does best, and that's clicking off laps. He can get out front, get some clean air, and just get into a groove. Even here at Phoenix, a tough track. Michael Smith goes for a crash, and that's going to bring out the caution. Michael Smith in the number 9. You see him pretty hard on the apron there. That paint can be a bit slippery. But these guys are trying to carry as much slip angle as they can to get it on the track quickly. But here he comes on the start finish line straight. This place eats up so many drivers and cars. So Michael Smith's going to go for a bit of a spin. He's going to hit the inside wall very, very hard. Does he bounce out in traffic? I don't think he does. And it shows Colton Lanford also involved in an incident. Lanford in the 25 machine. We know he's used his fast repair once already with an early incident. Looks like he may have saw the smoke and kind of spooked himself a little bit. Gets on the brakes a little bit too late. Does he slide into the wall? Gets on the gas to try and save it. Gives the inside wall a bit of a tail tap, so does a good job saving it. Let's see. Davis Harwell Cornell coming into pit lane. Kieran Church, Alan Wernicke. Steve Loving opts to stay out. His last pit was on lap 42, so he's got originally a fairly good set of tires still underneath them. So let's see who out of these fast drivers can get out of pit lane the quickest. Everybody looks like for the most part, Brett Redder looks like he only took 2 tires or maybe a little bit of fuel. Charlie Gates Jr. had the same strategy. So a lot of interesting development. Let's see Steve Lovin. We haven't called him out much today. The number 27 machine. He's out in front, first place. He's up 7 spots so far. Steve Lovin with JBR Motorsports doing a fantastic job. William Griffith in the 21 machine doing a great job with Reaper Racing. He's up 8 spots. And then Brett Redder, late night aficionado, promoter, admin. He does it all with Arcadia Motorsports. He finds himself up 22 positions. Redder's last pit stop was on lap 68, so he's looking pretty good with this restart to have some fresh tires underneath them. Get back out there and possibly battle for the lead. He's on 5 to 7 lap newer tires than the lead 2 drivers. Steve Loving, who's on the inside line in that Miller painted car. And then William Griffith Jr. on the high side in his Ford Mustang. Let's see how the field shapes up here. A lot of guys on different tire strategies. The number 17, Josh Oswald, gives a little bit of a bump to his buddy, William Griffith. Steve Lovin, we haven't seen him start much tonight. It's been Wilkinson who did all the starts for the most part, the number 19. Wilkinson, our previous race leader, he finds himself in 17th on this restart after having that moment where he got a little bit of a tail tap after he hit the wall and slowed way up. But here we go. It's going to be Steve Lovin on the inside line or William Griffith on the high line. It's anybody's guess. This is the first time these competitors have been up front for a restart. But keep an eye on Brett Redder, Josh Oswald. We all know they have the pace to run well. There goes Steve Lovin with a big launch. And William Griffith Jr. is going to follow just in tow. Behind them, Brett Redder, Josh Oswald. Look at that. Redder dives down the inside line. He's going to get by William Griffith and take second place. Now let's see, can Redder reel in Steve Lovin and his Miller-sponsored 27 Chevrolet? Or will it be the Arcadian Motorsports Camaro able to track down the leader and lead some laps for the first time here at Phoenix? We've approached the halfway mark, ladies and gentlemen. So we are making progress, and just like we've been saying all night long, it doesn't take any time at all for things to get shaken up, as we have an entire new top 10, and unfortunately the yellow flag will come out. We're going to re-rack the field. Not quite sure why the caution came out on that one. We did not see live timing and scoring update us with any possible on-track incidents. So now things shaking up a little bit. Steve Lovin will be starting again up front on the inside. Brett Redder is going to make his way to the front row in the number 97 machine. He'll be starting on the outside. William Griffith will be starting in row 2 inside. Then Josh Oswald, row 2 outside. Kenneth Farmer, he's up 11 spots, currently running 5th. He'll be row 3 inside. And then Charlie Gates Jr. will be running row 3 outside as well. Charlie Gates, he's up 23 spots to find himself in 6th place. So a fantastic run so far by the number 55 Mustang. All right, let's take a look. It's Brett Redder and Steve Lovin out front for the restart. Let's see, can Lovin hold up to the hype that has been the restart strategy so far at Phoenix, where we get fantastic launches. We'll try and get some green flag runs developed here, but I think it's only going to stay about the same, as there's quite the mixture of tire sets out there. Some drivers are going to be much, much tighter, and some guys are going to be much, much looser, trying to hold on to those race cars. We've got 70 laps to go in this feature race tonight. All right, let's take a look here. It's going to be a good one. Brett Redder starting the outside. Steve Lovin, these guys haven't been up front much tonight, but now is their time to shine and try and avoid some of the madness behind them. Steve Lovin with a great start. Redder gets a little bit of a push from his buddy Josh Oswald, and we're going to dive it into turn one. William Griffith, the lone car on the inside. It's going to be Lovin out front, Redder second. And then Josh Oswald makes his way up to third. Most of those top three opting to not run the dog leg. William Griffith gives it a try, but not quite able to make up much ground there. As 1, 2, and 3 a little bit spaced out, and another caution as Charlie Gates comes out and spins it. Let's get an eye on Charlie Gates Jr. That's the number 55 machine you see on your screen. Kyle Roberts also involved in that one. Let's see what happens to the 55 here that causes his day to go from bad to worse. So far, he's getting around okay. And just like that, I think he gets loose by himself. He tries to correct it to avoid hitting the number 12. And hits the wall so hard, the car completely stops. So I haven't seen that very often. That must be a Phoenix hitbox thing going on. But Charlie Gates having a rough time out there. And then Kyle Roberts, during that same thing, has an incident by himself coming out of turn 4 and slides around in the 35 car, and he's going to hit the inside wall with a lot of force. Look at the two red and black cars split the field. That's the number 5 and the number 7. So Jeff Paisley, Brett Grunewald split the difference. Two teammates out there doing a great job. A little bit of a mid-season update. I got reports that Arcadia Motorsports did get picked up by Butt Kicker, so great to see from those guys. It's going to be lap 84 out of 150. Steve Loving still out front. Brett Redder second. Josh Oswald third. William Griffith in fourth. And Kieran Church will round out our top 5. With about 65 laps to go here at Phoenix. I'm not sure if we're going to be forming them up single file or what we're doing here. It's hard to tell. It looks like they're going to be restarting single file on this restart. They may have it set up so they do not complete a full lap after a restart. The field is automatically forced into a single file restart. So that very well maybe what we see going on today. Not sure how well it's going to help, as we see a bunch of drivers out there with damaged cars. A lot of mixed tire strategies going on. Most of the field pitted on lap 60. So 25 laps to go. Under normal race circumstances, that means the cars are already starting to tighten up. At this rate, they're probably just getting burned in. As Steve Loving's going to take to the green flag. Brett Redder is glued to the back of him. Then Josh Oswald, he wants in the mix, number 17. Redder has a bit of a gap between him and first place Steve Loving. Oswald looking down low, seeing if he can make anything work on Redder earlier on. And there we go. We may be able to get a full lap here, but here comes William Griffith diving down the inside. Seeing what can happen. David Sartwell Cornell, he's in the mix here, trying his best to avoid any incidents. All right, look at the 47 of Josh Smith diving it in deep, trying to make something happen. A lot of good racing going on from front to back. It's a three-way battle for fourth place. Josh Oswald, Kieran Church, David Sartwell Cornell all in the mix. Behind Cornell, you've got Josh Smith. He wants to make it a four-way battle. As Sartwell Cornell, I believe, has not used a fast repair yet. Gets a little bit of a love tap from the 47. Does a great job holding on to it. The field behind him scatters like wild, so well done to Cornell. Gets a big push from Josh Smith in the 47. Able to survive and stay out there. This is your battle for fourth place right now. Kieran Church trying to hold off Josh Oswald. In front of Church, you've got William Griffith. He's holding on to third place. And about a half second separates the leader, Steve Loving, from second place, Brett Redder. Very interesting to see the different lines forming up. Some guys opting to use the dog leg, a large portion of the field opting not to. Kieran Church looks like he makes a little bit of time on William Griffith Jr. He does. William Griffith Jr. got loose coming out of 4. Slows him way down. It's going to allow Josh Oswald to try and get up alongside Moel. And once again, it's a four-way battle for third. Kieran Church on the high side. William Griffith using the dog leg. He's going to pinch him off going into turn 3s and 4. Josh Oswald, Josh Smith all in the mix-up as well. They're going to go 2 by 2 coming out of 4. No one willing to yield. Is 60 laps to go. Who's going to get the best out of the situation? William Griffith Jr. on the inside. Kieran Church on the high side. And just like that, Josh Smith goes for a wild ride into the apron. Keeps it off the wall, but it is going to bring out the caution. Let's get one more good look at that. Just gets a little bit of help possibly from the 42. And we're going to see what it looks like from the onboard here. We know it's a hard hit. Tries to save it going into the dog leg, but oh, it's about to get ugly for Josh Smith in the 47 as he gets a great look at all the toy haulers and fans lined up out there enjoying the race. Does a relatively great job of keeping off the wall very hard, so that's a very light contact the 47 took. Steve Loving still out front. Brett Redder second. William Griffith Jr. moved up to third. Kieran Church fourth. And Josh Oswald in fifth. So we did make it almost about... we made it a fair amount of laps. So the green flag run is starting to get a little bit longer here, as drivers really come to grips with their machines, their tire wear, and their fellow racers. As you see the lucky dog of the number 7 go flying around. That's Jeff Paisley trying to get some laps back here at Phoenix. Steve Loving still out front. Brett Redder in second, doing a fantastic job. Redder's up 23 spots from where he originally started. Clint Rice, another notable entry in the number 42 Toyota. He's up 16 spots, currently in 8th place. As we have about 20 drivers still on the lead lap out of the 30 that started. At least 5 drivers have parted for the night due to damage and unable to continue with their race cars at a reasonable speed. So I hate to see a lot of good drivers, a lot of fan favorites involved in that. We'll get ready to restart. Looks like they're going to say single file again. So that sure looks what it looks like. It's going to be single file restarts once more. So the race admins have called, I believe, single file restarts in order to get everything running smoothly. We've got still 55 laps to go here at Phoenix. As the pace car is in, Steve Loving's going to try and get a great start. Brett Redder's glued to his bumper. Steve Loving stacks the field up just a little bit. And here they go, charging again. William Griffith Jr. has moved his way up to 4th place. Behind him, Kieran Church. Right ahead of William Griffith, you've got number 17, Josh Oswald, as a large portion of the field tries to get that dog leg working and get something happen. It looks like it's going to work well for William Griffith. He's going to get the inside line, edging out several drivers there. But, man, what a interesting race. Kieran Church with a great pass moves up. He gains the 4th position, up 8 spots so far. Now let's look a little bit further back. It's where all the action's going to be. A absolute swarm of drivers all trying to battle for that top 5 spot. Peyton Johnson in 15. He's followed by William Griffith. William Griffith just got by. Oh, hold on to it. William Griffith has a big moment. He's going to get passed back by Peyton Johnson. So now behind Johnson, you got William Griffith, Justin Wilkinson, Alan Warnecki, Clint Rice, all in the battle here as everybody struggles to find where they want to go on the racetrack. Micah Uribe, he has an incident. Not sure if the caution is going to come out for this one. He was able to get it off track in time, so well done to Uribe, an absolute pro. The number 12, though, William Griffith almost gets into the side of his competitors, so they're riding around as tight as they possibly can and pushing hard. It's going to be 50 laps remaining once they cross the line. Take it back out front. Brett Redder still trying to chase down Steve Loving. Behind Redder, you've got Josh Oswald, Kieran Church starting to gain some ground here as we see a whole lot of smoke going into pit lane. I believe that was Brett Grunewald. May have had an engine failure. It sure looks like it. So Brett's going to have to unfortunately retire early. As Redder starting to gain a little bit of time on Loving. He's right over the back of that number 27 Chevrolet. Redder, though, gets a little bit loose in his own accord. And here comes Kieran Church as well as Peyton Johnson. Redder has problems. That's going to allow Steve Loving, currently up front, a chance to breathe and relax just for a moment. Loving's got about 0.6 seconds over second place, Josh Oswald. Kieran Church still trying to make that dog leg happen. See if he's gaining any time on Josh Oswald. We'll see. Last lap, their lap times are almost identical. We'll see what it is this next time by as they cross the start-finish line. Oswald put down a 27.84. Church put down a 28.03. So Oswald about 0.15 seconds a lap faster at this time and place. He's also faster right now than Steve Loving, who did a 28 flat. So if Oswald can maintain the pace, keep some tire wear underneath him, he's in a good spot for later on the run. But he does have 6 lap older tires than current race leader Steve Loving. Here we go, Kieran Church all over the back of Josh Oswald. This is your battle for second place on screen right now. Church in the number 22 machine, chasing down Josh Oswald in the 17. Church was about a 1/10 of a lap faster his last couple of laps, so he's slowly working on it. And then we have another caution coming out as Alan Warnecki takes for a ride. Warnecki in the number 72 machine. Let's see what happens here. Does he get a little bit of help from the number 42 of Clint Rice? He does. Rice gets into the back of him, not quite squared up. That's going to send Warnecki spinning around. He does a good job of avoiding contact with the 19, but he's going to go hard into the outside wall. And unfortunately not able to keep the number 72 machine pointing in the right direction, so you're going to have to call a caution for him to safely rejoin the track. Hate to see that for Allen. He's been doing a great job tonight. So we made it about 12 laps since our last caution. A couple of those were actually ran under caution, so we'll call it about 10 laps of a good green flag run. A very large portion of the field coming in for tires and fuel. Kieran Church staying out, Peyton Johnson staying out, and David Starwell Cornell staying out for the time being. These guys have a little over 29 laps on their set of tires. Actually, slightly over 30 laps on these set of tires, 35 to be exact. So not quite sure what the fuel wear situation is going to be, how long they can stay out, but most of these guys just happy to keep track position at this point, keep those cars clean, and keep surviving out there, as it's been a rough one for a large portion of the drivers really today. We did get a report that Charlie Gates had to step out, so that was the reason for his crash. Had a slight emergency at home, so we do hope you're all right, Charlie. We're thinking about you and the family, and hopefully everything's all right. Up front, it's going to be Church, Johnson, and Sartwell Cornell, as well as Josh Smith, our top 4 for this next start. 43 laps remaining here at Phoenix. Kieran Church still doing a great job. The number 20 machine, he's up 11 spots. Peyton Johnson, the number 15, he's up 7. David Starwell Cornell, he's up 10 spots. Josh Smith started 4th, currently running 4th. So well done to Smith for maintaining that spot. And then Joshua Thompson, he is in 5th place right now, up 10 spots. So all these guys having a great run today. Interesting to see what's going to happen, as we saw a lot of fast guys come in on lap 105 for 4 fresh Goodyears and fuel. If and when they'll be able to chase down these top 5 drivers that have stayed out, top 6 drivers that stayed out on their original sets. Original sets meaning since their last pit stop. Kieran Church, Peyton Johnson both came in on lap 71. Sarwell Cornell, Smith, Thompson, they came in around the lap 92, 93 mark, and then Michael Smith came in on lap 82. So a very, very different set of tire strategies going on in the top 5 Meanwhile, it looks like 7th through 18th all came in on lap 105. Looks like pretty much everybody took 4 tires and fuel. We're going to get ready to fire him up. Kieran Church will be starting. He's been getting pretty consistently great starts all day. Pace cars coming in. All eyes on Church in the 22. Green flag is out. Church with a huge launch going into turn 1. Everybody keeping it pretty clean. And oh no! Michael Smith goes for a ride. That'll bring out the caution again. A huge incident. Thankfully, no one else terribly collected in that one. So hate to see it for Smith and the 99 machine. All these guys going to get back out there, try and make something happen. But a lot of drivers collected in that one as well. Starting to find their way with a lot less fast repairs to use and a lot more damage on their machines. And we'll be right back here, folks. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. During the quick break, you can hear the fuel saving that current race leader Kieran Church is doing on that 22 Chevrolet, trying to eke out every little bit he can to keep that number 22 out there for as long as physically possible. So the race will be winding down. 38 laps left remaining in the event. Still lots of racing left to go, as anything can happen, as we've seen. Not many green flag runs that have really happened today. It's been, unfortunately, a very tough night for all of the racers out on course. A lot of fast guys involved, a lot of guys unable to really keep the wheels underneath them, and seeing a lot of spins and other incidents. And unfortunately, some of those incidents have turned into massive roadblocks on this Phoenix Raceway. Justin Wilkinson gets off of pit lane to try and stay on the lead lap. 19 machine, we saw him up front early on, but unfortunately had that rough crash after getting a little bit of a tail tap from one of the competitors going into turn 4. Kieran Church is going to lead us on the rear restart. Peyton Johnson will be in second. David Sarwell Cornell has worked his way back up to third. Josh Smith will be starting fourth, and Joshua Thompson will be starting fifth. So not much happening in the top 5 after that most recent restart. Here we go. Green flag is out. Church gets a great launch. Peyton Johnson trying to catch up, but here comes David Sorwell-Cornell on a little bit newer tires. Drives down the inside, gets the pass for second. Will we see David Sorwell-Cornell have the pace to reel in Kieran Church? Sorwell-Cornell does have those newer tires. Peyton Johnson's last pit stop was on lap 71, but he opted to stay out, try and keep that track position. Gets a little bit of a wiggle from the number 15 machine, trying to hold the gas as much as he can. But here comes the battle for the lead. David Sorwell-Cornell working on Kieran Church. Both of these guys going to look. No, they're not going to take the dog leg here. They're going to hold it on track, try to stay out, carry as much speed as they can, run the high line. And they run through turn 4. David Sorwell-Cornell, he's got about less than 2/10 of a gap that separates him from race leader Kieran Church. Sorwell-Cornell doing a great job trying to work on Kieran Church. Here it comes, the battle and pass possibly for the lead. David Sorwell-Cornell all over the rear bumper of that number 22 machine. While these guys are battling, that's allowed Peyton Johnson to reel him in just a little bit. Johnson, you see him on the right hand of your screen, the number 15. Wants to get up there. He's currently in third. He can see the battle for the lead happening in front of him. Peyton Johnson also pit on lap 71 at the same time as race leader Kieran Church. The fact that these guys are able to hold the pace so well on older tires is absolutely fantastic. But David Sorwell-Cornell absolutely glued to the rear bumper of Kieran Church right now. As we're clicking off laps, it's about to be 32 laps to go, 31 once they cross the line the next time by. Starting to see these guys work a couple different lines here as they go side by side down the back stretch after Church uses the dog leg. Church tightens up just a little bit. That's going to slow down Sorwell-Cornell as they try and get around turn 4 to see who can carry the best momentum. But look at that. Church has a bit of wiggle. They're side by side going once again into turn 1. The more they battle like this, you can see Peyton Johnson starting to reel him in. He's accompanied by Steve Loving. Sorwell-Cornell gets the pass on the outside. Can he make it stick? With Church using the dog leg, I believe he is. Now Peyton Johnson may have second place here as he runs side by side with Kieran Church. Gets a little bit loose, they both do. Looks like that's going to allow Peyton Johnson to keep the momentum up on the outside line. He'll comfortably gain second place. Kieran Church gets shuffled to third. Now he's got to contend with Steve Loving, who also has great pace and much fresher tires. Here we go, that very awkward transition coming into turn 3 as one driver uses the dog leg and the other does not. In this case, it's Church using the dog leg, Loving holding the high line. Loving doesn't quite have the momentum to charge into one. He's not going to have the favored line here. And look behind Loving, here comes Josh Smith. We've already seen him use the bumper once today. Will he do it again? Brett Redder, he's back in the mix, up 20 spots, currently running 5th. A lot of great racing, less than 30 laps to go here at Phoenix Raceway. Stephen Loving trying to work on Kieran Church. Church gets a little bit of the wiggles going on. That'll slow down his drive going into 1. Church is focusing so hard on Peyton Johnson, David Sorwell-Cornell in front of him. Doing everything he can to try and get some speed working. 28 laps left to go. Anything can happen here. I am excited. Kieran Church all over the rear bumper of Peyton Johnson. Meanwhile, Stephen Lovin all over the bumper of Church. Oh, they're driving hard with the lap slow ticking away. Look at that. Church gets in the wall, has a moment, tries to drop down the dogleg, I believe, just to try and save some bodywork from getting run over. Redder, now he's on the outside of Church trying to make something happen. Redder's going to briefly take 4th as Church is still struggling to hold on to it. And then the number 3 gets absolutely demolished. That's Dakota Camper. Let's see what happens to Dakota. I think he might have gotten just a little bit of an accidental love tap from Josh Oswald. Or he could have just gotten loose all by himself. Let's see what happens here to the number 3. It looks like, yep, he gets loose all by himself. Josh Oswald does a good job staying out of the number 3 machine. And Dakota Camper is going to take a pretty hard hit into the wall. You see how much damage is already on that number 3 machine. That Chevrolet not having a great night. The rest of the field does a good job navigating the crashed car. And we're going to do it once more. It'll be 25 laps to go. Steve Loving doing a great job right out front. Brett Redder finds himself in second after some of the field has cycled in for fresh tires. Josh Oswald is going to move to third. William Griffith in fourth, and Alan Wernecki back up to fifth in the number 72 machine. 25 laps to go. I still have no idea what's going to happen at this point, as we're seeing a lot of drivers coming for tires, and Jeff Paisley once again gets the lucky dog, working his way back onto the lead lap. 20 drivers, I believe, will still be on the lead lap for possibly the final shootout of the night. Not sure what's going to happen with the different tire strategies. Redder came in on lap 105. Most of the top, we'll call it top 10, came in on lap 105 to 110. Meanwhile, David Startwell Cornell finds himself just outside of the top 10. He's running 11th. He came in the last lap 125. So about the second half of the field all pitted this cycle. I'm not sure how that game was going to work out, putting yourselves mid to backpack. They've got to be banking on a cleaner run here, avoid any corners they may find on the raceway, and then hope the newer tires really pay off towards the end of this run. Let's see, can Steve Loving hold on to it? His last pit was a lap 105. Brett Redder currently running second place in number 97 Chevrolet. Again, he's up 23 spots. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be about 22 to go at the line. Again, these drivers have been moved to single file restarts after all the cautions here tonight. A bit of a bloodbath here at Phoenix. But the end is in sight for these drivers. They know it's coming up, which can unfortunately yield a little bit more aggressive racing as everybody's trying to get up there and score some points here at the end. I think just about everybody has used up their one fast repair so far tonight, but it's going to be the Steve Loving show on the restart as the pace car comes in. The number 27, he really stacked the field last time, not this time. As soon as the pace car is in, he gets on the loud pedal and lets it sing, as Brett Redder is going to try and hold on to second place against Josh Oswald in the number 17 machine. Steve Lovin able to get a pretty comfortable gap on that restart. He's up 0.6 seconds over second place Brett Redder. Behind Brett Redder, he's got Josh Oswald and William Griffith Jr., Alan Wernecki all in the mix-up here in the top 5. Warnecki dives it down the inside of William Griffith Jr., runs him a little bit high, going into turn one. It looks like he's going to make it stick here. William Griffith gets a little bit of a wobble himself. Warnecki a little bit of the wiggle. It's going to slow both of those cars and allow Kenneth Farmer back up into the mix. 21 laps to go. 20 once they cross the line. All these drivers in a final shootout. So far, we've seen some of the guys that pitted on lap 125 moving up. David Starwell Cornell, one of those drivers. Charging back up towards the front. He's right behind Kai Schappert. Here's the battle for sixth place. Kenneth Farmer and the number 59 in that kind of maroon and black number 59 machine. Right now, he's got David Starwell Cornell behind him. Cornell on 20 lap fresher tires, and another caution comes out with 19 to go. It's going to be Michael Smith and Harold Bud Barnes involved in one. Let's see what happens here, because live time is showing a whole lot of drivers involved in this one. You're watching Michael Smith in the number 9 machine. There's already contact going on front. That's the number 47 going for a ride, and the number 83 creating a bit of a roadblock. And boom, a hard hit for Michael Smith in the 9, and then cars go careening everywhere as so many drivers once again getting involved, trying to get off the racetrack, but unable to do so. Our last caution was on lap 125, so drivers able to make 7 flags total since the last caution, 2 of which were under the caution, so that means about 5 laps of green is all that they are getting. A lot of good cars getting collected here tonight. Steve Loving still out front. Brett Redder in second. Josh Oswald third. William Griffith fourth. Alan Warnecki fifth. Keep an eye on the number 63 machine currently showing in 7th place. That's David Starwell Cornell. Out of the drivers who took tires on lap 125, he is finding himself gaining the most time out there through this pack of drivers. Now for him, every caution helps. It allows him to kind of get a little bit of a repause. He gets better starts compared to the drivers still on their original set of tires. So Starwell Cornell, he's run out of laps. It's going to be about 15 to go for the green flag. And historically, he'll get about 5 green flag laps to try and make something happen. I believe we might have just heard somebody blow up as well, so that's not good. Yeah, that was Harold Bud Barnes. He had an incident. He's going to quickly get into pit lane so he does not extend the caution. So I believe Harold Bud Barnes has blown it up in the number 83. All right, here we go. Pace car will be in this time by Steve Lovin's been not jumping, but getting early launches all the time. He does it right as the pace car comes all the way in. Gets another great launch. Here comes Brett Redder in second place, trying to reel his way up. Behind Redder, you've got Josh Oswald, William Griffith, and then the battle for fifth as Alan Warnecki is trying to hold off David Sartwell Cornell. Sartwell Cornell does have that fresh set of tires compared to the rest of the top five. He's going to get on the inside of Warnecki. Looks like he'll make it stick on the start-finish line, carry great speed down the start-finish line. Now he's going to start working on William Griffith. 14 laps to go. And Sartwell Cornell, an absolute man on a mission here today. Picking his moments very carefully. The last thing he wants to do is get involved in an incident this late in the run after working so hard. The top four has stretched itself out fairly well for the most part. So we're going to see if and when he can make a move on William Griffith in the number 12. He's going to dive down inside, able to carry a little bit more speed on that fresh set of tires. He's going to get clear of William Griffith and run down to the dogleg here, drift way back up on the racetrack and dive it deep into 3. And he is going to get clear of William Griffith, who gets into the wall, able to hold on to it. A very good save from William. And now David Sartwell Cornell is stalking his prey. He's got the number 17 in front of him. Brett Redder goes for a spin. David Sartwell Cornell is going to get a 2-for-1. The caution does not come out yet. And now things have really shaken up. Brett Redder falls off lifetime in scoring. He's going to move way back after that incident. Terrible luck. Yellow flag does come out as Clint Rice has a crash. And boy, does David Sartwell Cornell find himself in a fantastic spot here. He's about 0.2 of a second faster than race leader Steve Loving on that final lap. Let's get the replay of Clint Rice and then get ready for the final shootout here at Phoenix. So Clint Rice looks like he's on the dog leg here. Comes back up the racetrack. There's Brett Redder in the 97 on the center of your screen. Redder had that problem. A little bit of contact that got his car loose. And then Clint Rice dives it in, but the number 8, nowhere to go. So that's going to spin both the number 8 and Clint Rice. The number 8 would be Joshua Thompson. Redder can't get away from bad luck. Tags the 42 of Clint Rice, and then Clint gets into the wall very hard. And just like that, things are really shaking up in the top 5 and the race for the lead. That will be our 19th caution of the night of a blood-filled night here at Phoenix. But things are about to get very interesting. David Sartwell Cornell finds himself in a very good spot to challenge for the lead. He saw second and third have a big moment, allowed him to get a 2-for-1 pass. And then he got very lucky with Clint Rice having a moment, allowing the field to get restacked single file. As David Sartwell Cornell finds himself out front, or in second place with fresh F tires. The rest of the top 5 has also pitted on lap 105 compared to David Sartwell Cornell's lap 125 pit stop. Running in 6th and 7th place, you've got Peyton Johnson, Dakota Camper. They pit on lap 125 as well, working their way up, but not quite having the lucky break that David Sartwell Cornell saw in that last stint. As Brett Redder, he ran up front all night long, finds himself in 11th place. That's got to be heartbreaking for Brett. You hate to see it for the Arcadia Motorsports sponsored driver. We're going to get ready to re-rack the field. Looks like it's going to be double file this go-around with 8 to go here at Phoenix. Steve Loving will be starting on the inside of the front row in his 27 Chevrolet Camaro. David Sartwell Cornell will be starting on the high side in the black and green 63 Ford Mustang. Behind them, Alan Wernecki, Josh Oswald, both in Chevrolets. So this is where things are about to get very exciting, and possibly the final shootout of the night. It'll be 7 to go once they cross the line. Pace car will be in this time by. Pace car is in. Watch Steve Loving on the left side of your screen. The 27 gets a massive launch. David Sartwell Cornell wants to stay glued to him. He does not want to spend any time battling with Josh Oswald in the number 17. Sartwell Cornell carries great speed through 1. Looks like he's going to get clear of the 17. Drive it hard down the back stretch. What's going to happen here? Does he have the pace? It's a 0.3 second difference between first place Steve Loving and second place David Sartwell Cornell. 7 to go, 6 as they cross the line here. Steve Loving able to maintain a pretty comfortable pace still here so far. He did a 27.77 compared to David Sartwell Cornell's 27.79. As I believe that was Josh Oswald had a big incident and another yellow flag coming out here at Phoenix. We'll grab a replay of Oswald's incident. It was a big one. Oswald looks like he got loose. I don't think he had any help on that with the number 17 machine, and sends it careening down the racetrack. Gets in the outside wall just a little bit. Maybe a bit of overcorrection trying to dive down the dog leg. And that's going to be a very, very fast crash for the number 17, doing his best to hold on to it. Oh, then drifts back up in the racetrack, tags the number 3. That could have went way, way worse. And just like that, another car glued to the wall. I've never really seen that before besides here at Phoenix. So I believe this is going to put us in a green-white checker condition. Steve Loving still holding on to first. David Sartwell Cornell in second. Alan Wernecki in third. Peyton Johnson fourth. William Griffith in fifth for the restart. Peyton Johnson, somebody to keep an eye on, currently in fifth place. He's also on lap 125 pit stop strategy. Interesting to see what it's going to be under green-white conditions. So does David Sartwell Cornell have the time and the pace? Steve Loving doing a fantastic job staying out front despite being on 20-lap older tires. In second place, David Sartwell Cornell. Cornell, our current points leader, just knows he has to play it safe, and he's looking in a good spot. Dakota Camper, another fast driver. He pitted on lap 125. He's moved his way back up to 6th spot here. So Dakota doing a fantastic job trying to show what it takes to get out there and make something happen. Dakota Camper in the number 3, racing in the United States, the good old US of A. So hopefully he had a great July 4th. I hope you guys at home did as well, as we get ready for possibly the final restart of the night. Let's see. Can Steve Loving hold on to the lead despite being on slightly older tires? That last run, it looked like David Starwell Cornell was not able to run a much faster pace. Maybe he's been pushing so hard on that set of tires, or maybe he has something to reserve. I'm not quite sure. But it'll be another double file restart. Steve Loving and the Miller sponsor 27 will be on the inside line. David Starwell Cornell and his Ford Mustang on the high side. Pace car will be in this time for green-white checker conditions. Let's see what happens here at Phoenix. Everyone is on the edge of their seats, ready to get this party going. Steve Loving with a great start. David Starwell Cornell able to run a little bit defensively, keep Alan Wernecki from getting that inside line so quickly. Oh, a big blink from the third place driver. That's Wim Griffith, does a good job getting off the line. Look at Starwell Cornell run the high line. Steve Loving run the low line. Who's going to get it going into turn 3? It's going to be Steve Loving holding on to the position. Starwell Cornell is going to try and do a little bit of a high-low maneuver, get some speed, working on the start-finish line straight. It's going to be Steve Loving on the white flag lap. Does Starwell Cornell have anything for him here in the final moments here? Oh, a little bit of a bump and run by Starwell Cornell, unable to get it clean. He is. He's going to make the pass on Peyton. Oh, it's a big mix-up. Peyton Johnson, the number 15 car, he's in the lead. We've seen Starwell Cornell use the bumper once. He does it again. He spins the number 15. It is a huge, huge wreck here at the finish line. Who's going to stride across the line? Absolute carnage. What on earth was that? I don't know what just happened. That was the craziest finish I've ever seen to a race after the most cautions I've ever seen in a race. So we're watching David Starwell Cornell. He's going to get into the bumper of the 15, try and move him up and out of the racetrack for the second bump and run in a lap. So there you go. They make contact behind them. Everyone else coming together as well. That's going to start the initial incident. Starwell Cornell gets absolutely ran over by, I believe, the 72 of Wernecki. It is. Wernecki is going to get around and take the win. And just what an absolute dumpster fire of a finish here. As they're still crashing across the line, everyone refusing to yield green-white checker scenario, so they're going to hold it wide. The number 34 of Larry Ashby launched. The number 63, David Starwell Cornell, gets launched into pit lane. That is a very unique finish. I'm very confused, but it was a lot of fun here tonight. As I'm perplexed. Wernecki's going to celebrate like it's 1999. We're going to pull up the unofficial results for the race. I say unofficial. I'm not sure if race control is going to have to look at all that and see what happened, or if that's how it's going to stand. But it shows as Alan Wernecki in first, Brett Redder second, Dakota Campbell in third. I'm very confused by what just happened, but I can say without a doubt that was a most spectacular finish I've ever seen in my life. All right, up first, we're going to get third place into the booth. So we've got third place, Dakota Campbell in the number 3 machine. Now, Miss Jamie Dunning, before that final stint, told us, hey, keep an eye on the number 3. And just like that, here you are up on the podium. How are you feeling after that wild finish here tonight.
Yeah, that was certainly a wild one. Whole race was just trying to avoid incidents, and I got a set of tires there towards the end. I was driving my way up through. Had a good side by side battle there with Warnacki for third, and then all of a sudden we're racing for the lead. Wild finish.
When in doubt, ARCA brakes. Now, Dakota, we don't know if that's going to be the official results, but for now it does show you in third. Were you pretty happy taking tires on lap 125 after seeing so many guys stay out after their lap 105 pit stop?
It was just such a crapshoot on when to go and when not to go. I had some damage, so I went in and took my fast repair and came out with a clean card and a new set of tires and was just going to give it my best effort. And I don't know where we're going to end up, but going to have a good finish.
Well, great job tonight, Dakota. Before I let you go, my friend, if you'd like to thank anybody, the floor is now yours.
Yeah, well, first off, I want to thank Jamie Dunning for giving me a shout out on the broadcast. And I want to thank my good friend Bill Stringfellow, who was spotting for me that race. Also want to thank Unchained Motorcycle Ministry. They do such good work in our region. I live around Bristol, Tennessee, around Bristol Motor Speedway. So appreciate Unchained for coming on the car, and thanks to you for doing such a good broadcast, man.
Always a pleasure, Dakota. We'll hopefully see you on the podium next week, my friend.
All righty, have a good one, buddy.
All right, up next, we've got second place and the unofficial results. The number 97 machine, Brett Redder. Brett, I mean, that was probably the wildest finish I've ever seen in all my years of broadcasting. Brett, you there?
Yeah, sir, I got you.
There we go.
Trying to talk to these guys in the race chat. How's it going, James?
I'm doing well. I'm assuming these are going to be the unofficial results while race admins figure everything out, but you've got to be relatively happy with the second place run here tonight.
Yeah, I really am. I was running good all night. Me and Steve, I feel like we're the cars to beat, and I feel like I had something for him, and I don't know, about 15 laps to go, I seen Oswald, my mirror, get real big, and I hit the gas pedal, and I turned left, and I thought my night was over.
Well, doing a good job. I mean, you had plenty of time to reflect your race strategy as the yellow flags just kept coming like a 90s hit album. Were you feeling pretty confident after taking tires on lap 125, or were you very worried you're going to be collected in one of those incidents we've seen all night?
I think I was in 2 or 3 of them, but I just decided that, track position was way more important than tires. So I just stayed out and hoped for the best. And like I said, that going to the last corner, I think I was 13th, and I saw them all wrecking on the front straightaway, and I when in doubt, throttle out. So I pinned it and ended up bringing it home second.
That's old Brett. Do not hesitate. Accelerate, Redder. Brett, before you let you go tonight, anybody you'd like to thank out there that may be cheering you on?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank my team, Arcadia Motorsports. Without Jeff, he's pretty much had my back through a lot of stuff that's happened so far this year, which sucks, unfortunate. Then you got Butt Kicker. They're sponsoring us. McConey Setup Shop, Smill Racing Design. He's gonna put up he's gonna pay for a race, and Magic Mike Motorsports for helping out. Hall Sheet Metal, Brett Grunewalt for helping out. Just all the admins here that have made this possible. I really appreciate everyone's help and all the sponsors.
Well, always a pleasure having you up on the booth. We look forward to the official results once they're published, but for now, enjoy the second place and the party that follows.
Yeah, I appreciate it, James. And like I said, your broadcasts are amazing, man. So just really appreciate you being patient and putting up with these long races.
No worries, my friend. We'll see you next week, man. All right, up next, the man of the hour, Alan Warnecki in the number 72. Again, that's showing first place for the, I guess right now, unofficial results, but able to pull it off there at the end and holding it down and just avoiding some carnage, Alan.
Yeah, that seemed to be the story of the night.
Yeah, over 20 cautions. We lost a lot of good drivers along the way. Did you have any plans going those few final laps, or was everybody just holding it wide and praying a little bit?
Well, I was trying to run pretty conservative, and first place got tagged on the last lap, and I gave everybody a room. I think going into 3 and 4, I think I was 5th, and then carnage coming out of 3.
Now, Alan, were you at all worried about the guys that had pitted on lap 125 compared to your 110, or were you feeling pretty good where the tires were on that final run?
I had a really good tire wear early in the race. I had like 93%, and I thought tires would have been gone by then, so I wasn't real worried. But there were some fast guys with new tires, so that's never fun.
Well, Alan, a great job tonight as always. It's a pleasure having you up in the booth with me. I know you're tired. It's been a long night for everybody. Before I let you go, anybody you'd like to thank that may be tuning in tonight?
I got nobody awake. Everybody's sleeping around here. I do want to shout out Hall Sheet Metal or Hall Heating and Air Conditioning, sponsoring this league we got here, and all the admins. And I think Kai is also doing a fundraiser that's really cool for Mission 22. So shout out to those guys.
Awesome. Always a pleasure, my friend. We hope to see you up in the podium more often. Have a great night.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for a very long night here at Phoenix Raceway for the Late Night Rebels Series, brought to you by Original Rebel Racing League. Hall Sheet Metal coming on board, supporting everybody. Always a pleasure. Arcadia Motorsports doing a great job. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I'm James East, always bringing the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second. We'll see you next week.